a new episode of Growth Stories, the minicast where we get to the bottom of the best on-chain growth insights. I am Kryptena, your co-host, and today I'm joined by Joshua, Chief Revenue Officer at BitVault, the institutional Bitcoin-backed stablecoin. It's great having you today.
Great to be here. Thanks for having me.
Amazing. Joshua, you come from a TradFi background. Can you briefly talk us through your journey?
Yeah, definitely. So it's maybe not TradFi in the way that a lot of crypto bros think of with high frequency trading or private credit or anything like that. Really, I was actually doing retirement planning at Transamerica Financial Advisors. So I was sitting down with a bunch of 40 and 50-year-olds and convincing them to buy life insurance and mutual funds and retirement options. But overall, I did really well at that actually. And yeah, from there, I ended up getting into crypto really because I just saw the money that could be made. I moved over to p2p.org, one of the OG native stakers in the space. They built Lido and quite a few other protocols actually. And I did super well with P2P. I mean, within 9 months, I brought them like $1.7 billion of TVL. And then from there, moved over to VaultCraft, was given this shot with like just a really good growth package, a really big opportunity to bet on myself. And I just really believe in the results I can put together. So from there, VaultCraft, we went from 2 million to over 100 million in TVL from different partners, mainly Matrixport was a big LP of ours. And then that kind of led us into building BitVault, this new Bitcoin-backed stablecoin, where I essentially coined myself the chief revenue officer. We're a very small team of 4 people, but I am responsible for all the money that BitVault makes, essentially. So that is kind of how I got to where I am today in crypto.
That is an impressive track record, I have to say. And I think I'm going to call you the TVL king from now on. So, yeah.
I'll take it.
So P2P and then VaultCraft and then BitVault. The question that probably the audience has on their minds is, what is your playbook? How did you make all of this happen?
Yeah, I don't think it's like necessarily just one thing or a playbook. Honestly, a lot of people, when you look at a professional sports athlete, right? They have been training that sport, everything about their sport. Like when they become a professional, they have a trainer for running, for stretching, for depth perception, for coordination, for catching, for throwing, for everything, right? Whatever their sport is, depending, right? And sales is the same thing. It's the same as anything. If you want to become a better writer, you practice writing. And I think a lot of people think that sales is like completely built off of charisma or network. And sure, those things help. But I learned from people that turned from accountants to people that earned over $1 million a year back in Transamerica Financial Advisors. And there's like a joke, right? How do you tell and if an accountant's an extrovert? They're looking at your feet instead of their feet. So anyone can learn to do anything, right? Like you can learn to be charismatic, you can learn to listen. And I'd say that comes from like sales foundation. Honestly, I'm very like a foundational salesman. A lot of my process runs from processes that were written about in books literally from like the 1800s to the 1980s. So stuff that's been around for like 100 years, hundreds of years, and stuff that's been around for 50 years plus and still stands the test of time. Some of those books are like Secrets of Closing the Deal by Zig Ziglar, The Master of Mastering the Art of Selling by Tom Hopkins, Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill, How to Win Friends and Influence People by Dale Carnegie. Those are kind of the playbooks, right? It's not just one thing, but rather understanding the foundation that builds sales and then putting a lot of time to get good at that. That's something that should be done. Sales isn't just something that's like you wing it. There's, in fact, the stricter and more disciplined process you have, and the more savage you are, and the better your organization is, just all of that is going to continue. And the more you care about people, right? Like I'd want to buy something from someone that genuinely cares about me than just some, asshole that doesn't, right? So, and just wants to sell me something. So that's like the playbook is there's a lot of it. Like care about sales, care about what you're doing, and take the time to look into like the greats that have built this like, modality or something and learn from them. Get your ego out of the way, I think is a good way to get good at sales.
I love that. And I like that you continue to improve your processes, to improve your tactics and everything. I believe you posted at some point on LinkedIn a carousel with the books, so I will link that in the description for the audience to see. What metrics do you actually obsess over when you're scaling TVL?
Money. Yeah, that one's easy. It's money. Any salesman that doesn't care about money is a bad salesman. That's the easy way to put it. They suck at their job. The only point of sales is to make money. And that's why it's the most important like job in every single industry. In every single industry in the world, there are sales. Whether you are in nonprofit and you need salespeople to go raise money for you, whether you are in medicine and you need people to use the products or medicines that you build, whether you're a doctor and you want people to actually like go and use the therapies that you prescribe, right? Like you have to sell them on that. You're always selling, essentially. Selling means that like it's just execution. And at the end of the day, if you're selling for like TVL, that TVL should directly relate in revenue. Because if not, honestly, all these funds are super smart. They're just going to drain you of your VC money like an idiot. And then they're going to move to the next idiot that just wants to give them all their VC money for risk-free rates for via tokens or whatever. It's stupid. The whole like that's like most of the space. No, just stupid. You should focus on making money. And I think that's like hands down what's almost propelled me very quickly in this space is I make money for the people that I work for. And that's a very important metric to me.
I love that with you is always real talk and real
Yeah.
advice. Crypto is global and you've closed huge deals with international partners. How do you go by approaching different cultures?
Yeah, funny enough, I think that's like actually pretty important. Like money talks at the end of the day, right? People want to do business with people that are going to make them money, but they also want to do business with people that they like and trust. And it's fun. Like just be curious, I guess, right? Be curious about a culture. I'm normally genuinely very intrigued. I love learning about culture. I love like trying new food and approach it with reverence, but also authenticness. I don't think that like every culture is very different. There's some things they're sensitive about. There's some things you can joke about. I think leaning into like things that make you more human with them is super important, right? Because that's just like, I don't know, you can always pull it down to like extreme or super simple examples. If I was just like, if I only spoke Spanish, would I want to go to a doctor that just spoke German or something? No, no way. I would want a doctor that like speaks Spanish, right? So that's like an overblown example, but I think that that is still super relevant in the idea of kind of like people doing business with people they like. So just yeah, approaching like also culture with curiosity, reverence, and maybe like a fun attitude. Like it's I think it's really fun to learn things, to eat new food, to see what's like special to people, to see what's not. Yeah, all of that I think is fun. And like the more someone likes you on top of how badass your product is, the more they're going to want to do business with you, honestly, right? I think that's like one huge thing that a lot of those books that I talked about, right? It's like you can't just be someone that someone doesn't want to hang out with and then they give you a bunch of money, right? So totally.
Right. And I assume that applies to investors as well. So, talking about that, you said your BitVault raise was extremely strategic. And how do you find investors like that?
Just mean what you say. Have a clear game plan to making money. We're in finance, right? I'm in finance. We're starting a stable coin that creates yield. We are in finance. I am not starting this for gushy feelings, for friends, for any of that bullshit. And anyone that's convinced themselves that they're starting something in finance or the for profit, private, like commercial world, it's kind of full of shit, dude. You'd start a non-for-profit. You wouldn't start a for-profit business if you didn't want to do this to make a bunch of money. And so there should be clear paths to making money. Like clear paths. There shouldn't just be like some ideated flywheel that a bunch of people will hop into and yada yada. I hate that. That's not how products work. It's just like you don't just throw something out into the world and the hope that people buy it off Amazon. It's like, who's your target users? Where do they live? When are they on the internet? What keywords are they searching? How are you going to reach them? What's your SEO? Do you have ads, right? Like that's the same thing with crypto. What markets are you using? Where's the liquidity? Who's even going to want to use this? Why do they want to use this? Are they investing in similar products? How are they better? How are you better than these similar products? Like what's the clear path to making more money than your competitors, right? And that is definitely how the strategic raise works. So we raised from like 3 tier 1 market makers, the GSR, Oros, and Keyrock. And so like very literally just some of the best market makers in the game. They will essentially BitVault will kind of be like them actually coming on chain to help run like a yield product rather than just a market making product or something that they've done before, or they also have like lending desks and things like that. But either way, this will be like an on-chain product for them, and there's a clear path to scaling. We already have LPs lined up. We already have ways to make money. We already have like a mandate as to what we want them to execute with trading. hurdle rates, expected APYs as to like what they come away with. For exchanges, we have a lot of reasons exchanges want to list us. So Gemini invested in us. Not that that just comes with like an automatic listing, right?
Yeah.
But people know that three of the best market makers in this space are going to be trading our stablecoin, like from the get-go, right? They're going to be creating volume. We're going to have good yield, so people are going to want to buy. There's going to be use case that's already professionally and institutionally created. It's not just like RE7. They're a hedge fund that's going to help create yields, one of the best in the space. I think they have like over $1 billion in AUM at this point, or very close to it. And so everyone in this raise, that there's a clear way that they can continue to add to our operation and help it grow, right? Which is very important for us for a pre-seed, because we were self-funded for a while with VaultCraft and we were perfectly fine. But the idea is like, if we're going to build a team, let's build a team of the best and make sure everyone has skin in the game. And we did that, right? And I think that like, even though a lot of our game plans are still maybe in the shadows, not to our clients, but kind of like to the public still. That'll change soon enough. And clearly like what's happening in the shadows is very important and very real, right? Like it's gonna be public soon, but a lot of these people are behind us and the idea of strategy is really important. Like how are you gonna make money? And I think everyone clearly saw that and that's why they invested.
Yeah, no, that's really quite the strategy, and I like that. What's the biggest opportunity that you see right now that people are still sleeping on?
Just in crypto in general, man, I don't know. Times are weird, right? I guess like times are weird, right? I don't know. Right now, I think Bitcoin is hands down the best asset. I've become like a little less bull. I'm pretty bearish on like crypto, but I'm super bullish on blockchain and Bitcoin. I'm super bullish on the idea of stable coins. I'm super bullish on the
Yeah.
idea of on-chain credit. I'm super bullish on the idea of like these real world applications where just instant finality of your transactions makes it better, right? Like it helps cross-border payments and the idea of being able to play part in different markets despite your geographical location. But I have no idea why anyone would want to use like some crypto AI when you could just use OpenAI or Grok or someone that's worth like trillions of dollars. So yeah, I think that honestly, crypto is about to become a lot more mature, and people should just not sleep on Bitcoin. Like it's the best performing asset in the world, and even if you buy now, we hit like 200 and then it blows back to 100 or 80 or something. In 10 years, it's always going to be doing better. Like it's just always going to be doing better. It has extremely unique characteristics. The biggest players in the world, BlackRock's using it, right? Like they literally don't lose at all. They were just at an event in Chicago that I was at, and they're extremely bullish Bitcoin and they're extremely bullish DeFi, like blockchain, maybe like the idea of just being able to use these instant payment rails for financial things that already exist and are too cumbersome, right? Like not just creating some brand new thing, but just financial things that already exist and are way too cumbersome. Like that's why decentralized lending works so well, because getting a loan is really hard. You have to have this
Yeah.
arbitrary credit score. You have to have some kind of relationship with a bank beyond your credit score normally. And then beyond that, like who knows how much liquidity they can give you. While like on Aave, it's right there. You can borrow up to like $1 billion of USDC at 5%. It's completely algorithmic. It has to be over collateralized. So as the lender, you never lose. And as the borrower, it just makes sense. Like I know exactly how I can get more money and how I can grow my wealth.
Yeah.
So yeah, I would say that like I don't know if there's one thing, maybe BitVault, right? Don't sleep on BitVault. One day we will have a governance token and everyone should go and buy it. Not financial advice. But yeah, I would say like don't sleep on like very legitimate things coming into crypto, like just private credit, you know, things like that. That's where I see the future of crypto.
Got it. Good, good. Now, time for a rapid fire round. So, Joshua, quick answers only. What is something BD teams should prioritize more of?
Revenue.
Nice. Are you a work life balance or crypto never sleeps kind of guy?
Both. Just be better than just go harder than everyone, right? Like rules are made up by people, and if people want to make themselves so tired and this and that, whatever, just don't be that way. I'm a Latino, so we're just like born with infinite energy and life force.
Oh, I love that. Best Web3 event.
Best Web3 event. Wow, that's tough. they're all pretty tiring at this point. The BitVault company offsite. No, I don't know. I'm gonna say token. Just like the people at token are always really good. Token always has really, really good people. Mix of institutions and protocols. 2049 in Singapore. Sorry, that wasn't very rapid fire.
That's good. Where can people find you?
So Joshua Betancourt on LinkedIn, and then Joshua BP2P for peer-to-peer on Twitter. So you can find me at both of those places.
And that wraps up another episode of Growth Stories. If you enjoyed these insights, make sure to subscribe and collect this episode on post.media. I'm your co-host, Kryptena, and we'll catch you in the next episode. See you next time.